Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the Large Guys podcast. I'm your host, Joseph Kirai. We've got a special guest. But before we get to him, we've got Bald Beauty, aka the Groundhog Queen King. Oops,
Oops.
the Groundhog King. What's
Hello,
up?
everyone. Welcome to the show. This is a little different than the usual, so hope you guys enjoy.
Hey, that mic sounding real good now.
Oh,
You
yeah,
had
I
you
had
had your
to
you had your welcome everybody. And this is
welcome
Albin
everyone.
Salazar.
I had my podcast voice.
Yeah, you had your announcer
So
voice. All right, and then so we have our special guest all the way from our neighbors to the north because we live in the States. All the way from Canada. What part of Canada are you in right now?
Calgary, Alberta.
There you go. All the way from
we
Calgary,
the North, baby.
all the way from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. We have JK. JK, you want to just introduce yourself, a little bit about yourself?
Okay, sure. Hello, my name is JK. I'm originally from Toronto, Ontario, but I currently live in Calgary, Alberta. I work as a full-time missionary with Catholic Christian Outreach. Graduated with my Bachelor of Commerce, majored in accounting, and then minored in law. And I met JQ and Pau end of June, beginning of July in Chicago. So
Shaw
it's
City.
been a journey.
Yeah, shout out
Actually,
Chicago.
Calgary's known as Canada's Texas.
In what way? Like how?
Like people wear cowboy hats.
Nice. I love it. That's
Like
So it's like the country. Is it more
Yeah.
country?
like people have cattle.
okay.
Like there's a
JQ and I have cattle.
I'm like
No, we don't.
city kid, so I don't really know like what the country is like, but like people here, like a couple of my students, like they drive tractors, they have land.
So
Uh,
so we're going with the stereotype view of
Okay.
Texas.
Well, honestly, that's more like West Texas
Yeah,
or
West
like
Texas.
Oklahoma.
The things that they see on TV.
Yeah,
That's not where we live because like we're in more industrialized like suburban cities.
mm.
But if you were to go out west, then yeah, you're gonna see a bunch of tractors, a lot of cattle.
Like I was surprised when I went there that I didn't see any hay
Horses.
rolling around.
Yeah.
That's true. Did you when you went from Houston to Dallas, did you drive or how did you?
I took a megabus.
Okay, you didn't see anything
Shout out to the megabus.
I was knocked
knocked
out.
out. Oh, okay, yeah. You would have seen like hay and cattle and horses. That's yeah.
At
At some
point.
point, yeah. There are different spots where you'll see that, but
Maybe
if you're knocked out, then you didn't see anything.
I'll have to take the trip again.
Yeah,
Have
for
to.
sure. Okay, that's interesting. So you're in the quote unquote Texas of Canada.
Yeah.
So speaking of, so you talked about how we met each other. So like, what was your impression? Because I'm sure you've met Americans before that time, right?
Like yeah, like I've met them, but I never really had
Not
like
like
any
personally.
relationship or desire to be friends with them.
Oof.
Okay, so this was like was the first time you were like exposed. I know. Wow. Hold on now. But that was the first time you were like personally engaging or interacting with Americans.
Mhm.
So like what was your because I think Pao and I can probably speak for how we felt about meeting y'all, but like what was your like initial reactions to us? Or just like the other Americans that you met?
Um, well, at first I think it was really awkward. I don't think men and I think like that was like two-sided. I don't think a lot of the Canadians were like, I want to go meet some of the Americans, or like the Americans were like, oh, like I want to go and like meet some of the Canadians. Like it started off really small with just like the people that we're serving. And then that's like for me, that was like my opening to be like, I just want to meet Americans. Like I'm a super extroverted person, so I love meeting people. I love like building relationships. But yeah, I guess like my first impression was, oh, I don't know if they want to meet us. Like I don't know if, but in the same way, it's like I don't know if I want to meet them. I'm so scared. I'm so nervous. Um, but yeah, nothing super intense. I know a lot of the Canadians were like, we gotta show them who's boss. Like we're the NBA. Like,
Oh my
yeah,
god.
I love it. I love it.
Hey, shout out Canadians, man.
I came on Friday, so I think I didn't get to. I know a lot of people were there a lot earlier, maybe a couple of days. And I was wearing a Cowboys jersey. I felt like your typical, I guess, I don't know, American wearing their football team's shirt. It wasn't a jersey, it was a shirt. And I walked in while we were having a story con. So like everyone was in a circle, and I just felt like everyone was just looking, and I was like, I don't know like anybody. I hadn't been part of any meetings really, so I had no idea what to expect. And I was like, bro, like I've never met Canadians before, and so it was just different. Like you just and it was kind of weird though because we didn't really have time to, I guess, introduce each other to one another, to each like everyone else, because we immediately were going to start practicing or setting up or whatever.
yeah,
So I don't really. It was like at first it was just like okay, like they're here. And
yeah.
it was a little. I think it was a little like nerve wracking at first, just because, and exciting too though, because you usually see the same people at the conferences every summer, but this one was different because like 80% of the participants were from
Yeah.
Canadian, or Canadian.
Canada.
Whoa.
Canada.
So
Yeah. It's funny that you bring that up because like me and like a group of like people we drove in on the Thursday. We got there maybe around like 4 o'clock, and like Jover was there already, and he was
My
saying
guy.
he was asking if me, because I was man on the street, and then Ella, who was like dance man, if we were gonna stay for like a run through at night. And then we're just like, oh, like we're kind of tired, we don't know. And then Jover was like, come to the dress rehearsal because he felt so awkward, and he was like, I don't know how to talk to these.
Exactly.
Uh, and then me and Ella ended up not going.
Dang, nice and good friends.
Nice.
We just went to like our hotel, and then the next morning we were at that story con, and then me and Ella were literally like, why are we here? Like we like that was the first time I ever heard of StoryCon.
Oh
Uh,
really?
Really?
yeah, and so I had no idea what StoryCon was, what was the purpose of it. So I'm sitting there, and we're going through the entire conference, and I'm thinking to myself, why am I here? I could be sleeping. I didn't even get like a good breakfast.
It's okay,
Uh,
JK. I think you're
Hey,
not the
hey,
only
to,
one
to
who's
be
thought
fair,
that.
to be fair, none of us got a good breakfast that weekend.
yeah.
That's funny. No, yeah, I came in and I was just looking around the room. And I was like, okay, I know some people from the U.S. and then everyone else. I'm trying to put names on people's faces because I've heard of different Canadian names in the
Really?
summer, like I guess from the singles that were serving. And I was like, I think like your name was there, JK, like Jover's name, for sure. And it was really just Jover, and I was like, I wonder who Jover is. But yeah, no idea. I don't think I really started talking or conversing with anyone until like the actual conference started. It was really Michelle because she was our stage runner.
Yeah.
That's it.
Mhm.
Shout out
See,
to
I don't
Michelle.
even know who Michelle. I don't even think I met Michelle. It's
Still?
crazy. Yeah, because like there were so many of y'all, man.
Honestly,
So moving on a little bit. So in our last episode, I know JK hasn't seen an episode yet, but episode 4, at the end
disrespect.
of it, we talked a little bit about the community, about MFC, and you are also part of MFC in
Hmm.
Canada, and so that's what a lot of this interview is really about. Obviously, we want to get to know you personally and other fun things, but the main thing is just being able to get perspective from other people around the community, and in your case, from somebody in a different country, at least for us or like our American viewers, just to so people can just see also like what it's like in other areas, especially different countries. So the first question I have for you is, when did you join MFC, and how were you invited?
Okay. So I joined MFC May 2017. And the way that I heard about it was, so I was the year before, actually, I guess 3 years beforehand, I was working at Apple. And I became really close with the Starbucks baristas that were nearby. Um, and it would get to the point where I would rather spend my breaks with the baristas than with my coworkers sometimes, depending on who was on break. And so yeah, like we just ended up becoming friends. They started to hook me up with free drinks, and so I get my free drink and I kind of like chill off where they hand off the drinks. Um, and so this girl who had been like inactive for maybe like a year or two, she was saying, "Oh, like there's like this like event that's happening, and you can meet like other like young adults. Would you be interested in going?" And I'm like, "Sure. Like I love meeting people, and if they're Catholic, then all the better." And then yeah, I went to my CLS, and I was so confused. I had no idea what was going on. Like what I thought I was going on a retreat. Um, and then when they were going through like the modules, I was sitting there like, what? I was like,
I love it.
I don't get it. And then I was in Toronto at the time, and during the CLS, there was a lot of people transitioning from MFCY to MFCS. Um, it's so difficult.
You're
Oh,
right.
from the youth to the singles.
Yeah, from Y
Okay.
to S. Um, and
Abbreviations, yeah.
so a lot of them knew each other, and so I was
Right.
kind of there like by myself thinking, what have I signed myself up for? Like I have no idea. Like I don't know any of these people except for one person that invited me, and she was a prayer warrior.
So she just
Nice.
was nowhere around,
So
probably.
she was off like at her table like praying, 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 like God bless her soul. But that left me being like, all right. So yeah, that was kind of how I entered into the community through a CLS, through a Starbucks barista.
Wow, that's that's actually a very unique story because
Yeah, shout out to that Starbucks barista
shout out
though.
to Starbucks for sure. Um, yeah, so had you ever been part of a some type of community or like maybe a youth group when you were younger before MFC?
Mm, so at my parish, I was involved with youth ministry.
Okay.
So I would help run events. I would help organize them. The parish that I went to was very engaged with their youth. So like, have you guys heard of the Steubenville conferences?
Yeah.
Yes.
So like, our parish was able to bring 300 like young adults to like the Steubenville conference, and so that was kind of where I had my community.
Gotcha.
When I entered into university, it wasn't until my second year that I got involved with um, the campus ministry, so Catholic Christian Outreach, which is basically just the Canadian version of Focus.
Right.
And so I got involved. Like I went to events. I had a couple of friends in there, um, and then it wasn't until my last year of university, because I took a fifth year. All of my friends that were smart enough to graduate on time were gone, and so I was kind of left all alone, not knowing where to go. And so that's where the Catholic community on campus kind of helped me. Um, and yeah, and then after I graduated, started working for them and just desired for more solid Catholic friends. And yeah, that's what MFC has been for me.
Nice. And I guess before because we do want to go more in depth about your work as a missionary, but before that, so you've been in MFC for about 3 or 4 years now.
Mhm.
How would you say that's, because we talked about this in our last episode, but how would you say that being specifically in MFC, how that has, I guess, impacted your relationships or allowed you, I know you are an extrovert, but like has being in the community like enhanced your ability to connect with people?
Definitely. Um, yeah, I think it like the story is like so crazy because I joined like the community May 2017. I went to my first congress or conference in June 2017. And in August 2017, I moved to another city that doesn't have MFC.
Wow.
And so, yeah, it's crazy to look back and think in the span of 3 months, I was able to really grow in my friendship with these people, really grow in fellowship. And when I joined in the Toronto chapter. I moved to Ottawa, which is a 4.5 hour drive. And I realized how much I cared about these people and how much I valued our friendship when I would finish work at 5 o'clock in Ottawa. I would drive 4.5 hours so that I could make it for a household that was
Oh
happening.
my
Like,
goodness. Hold on, 4 hours?
yeah, 4.5 hours.
Dang, so y'all had some late
Just
households.
just to drive a household? To a
Just
household?
so, just so I could go to a household.
Yeah, y'all heard it here. No excuses, guys. Come
Yeah,
on.
for real. Honestly, no one.
I complain about driving like an hour away. Maybe 30 minutes.
I complain about these Zoom. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Shout out to Zoom.
that would be like if I moved back to Houston and then finished work and then drove 4.5 hours just to come back up to Dallas for a household.
Wait, hold on. Y'all's
That would
household
be
would be at
nuts.
like 9 p.m.?
Yeah.
That's
What?
crazy. Well, it's on the weekend, right?
Well, it was a Friday.
Okay.
Like, I think household might have started around like 8 o'clock.
Okay.
So I would just be joining late. I would have missed like
Worship.
worship. But yeah, and so it wasn't until I started making these trips. Like a lot of the GTA people always make comments saying, Jake, it's like you never moved. It's as if you're still here. And it was funny because the next year, like I was still living in Ottawa, but then they asked me to serve for the CLS as music min. So I was willing to come back for practices because it was fun. It was exciting. I loved the relations that I had. It was an opportunity for me like to serve God, and I love music. So like the only barrier was that it was far, it was long.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I couldn't like it wasn't a good enough excuse for me to like I'm gonna stay in Ottawa and not go.
Dude, props to you because that's far, and most people would not frequently. I know that's because you made frequent travels back and forth.
Yeah.
It's a lot of dedication, so props to you for sure.
Yeah. How often were the households? Like twice a month?
Once a month.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's still. I mean, that's still.
That's still a
that's
drive.
still a
Though. That's
commitment,
an
man.
8-hour trip.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking about it, and when I lived in Ottawa, the longest amount of time that I spent in Ottawa consecutively was 3 weeks. So I was coming back home pretty often. And so yes, I was like home to visit family, go to like family events, hang out with friends. And it just so happened that some of those weekends were household weekends. Some of those weekends
Nice.
were PA weekends. So everything just worked out really well for me to come back home.
Gotcha. So you talked about
Props,
household.
man.
Talked about household. Obviously, that's one of the many things that we offer in terms of like events for MC. But is there one that it could be household or it could be something else? But is there one type of event that you like look forward to most, or you would say is like your favorite?
Conference/Congress.
Okay.
Yeah, like
Specific year or just
Yeah. Is there like a okay? Yeah. So conference is your favorite. What's like? Is there a specific one that really sticks out to you that you've been to?
honestly, I'd probably say like the Chicago one has been my favorite. Um, yeah, like you guys were mentioning earlier, it's so easy sometimes to go to a conference and not have great expectations and kind of just see it as, all right, I'm gonna go see my friends, kind of grow in my relationship with the Lord a little bit more. And so going into what do you guys call it? Is it conference or congress?
We call it conference,
you can call it Congress though. It's okay.
but it's the same.
Okay, so yeah, it's the one that we had in Canada the year prior. We were making like a promo video saying that our next one was going to be in the States. And so I got to know like a couple, like a day before, because we had to record the video. And so the only thing that I could think of was, I'm gonna meet Americans. Like, I'm gonna have like a friendship and a relationship with some Americans. And this is a year before the conference. Um, and yeah, and just the idea of having a road trip with some of like your closest friends. Like, I want to say like out of, because there was about 100 Canadians that went. Probably about 30 to 40 of us drove to Chicago. Um, so yeah, it was just a great opportunity to meet other like brothers and sisters and really kind of see differences and similarities. Like, yes, we're from different countries and we're from different I don't know if it's the right word, different cultures, um, in a sense, but like we all do the exact same thing. Like, we're all part of the same community. And so it was really interesting, and I was really excited to kind of hear about the similarities and the differences that Canada and the US chapters had.
Nice. Yeah. It's so funny too because like same thing. I honestly didn't know what to expect because it's like, half of the conference is going to be people we've never met. And one thing I always wanted to know is like, well, because I had known Canadians before, right? Shout out to Pau and Jaime Gallos. They
Oh,
lived in Houston. Yeah, they were
yeah.
in my chapter in Houston. Um, but that was like a small sample size, right? And so I still wonder, like, are all Canadians like them? Are they like us? Like, and then like y'all, I mean, yeah, for the most part, we're pretty similar. You guys have different slang, and we'll probably talk about that later, like in the show. But like, obviously, there's just different things that we say. But for the most part, it was like, yeah, like they're basically just like us. And I mean, it's true when like technically we're all American, technically because we're all in North America. So I mean, there are some like distinct differences, but for the most part, it's like talking to another person from the U.S. I don't know. How did you feel the same way?
Yeah, there was, I think the big differences were just really like slang or what's in Canada or what's in Texas. We'll probably touch on that later, but we asked, "Do you guys have this? Do you guys have that?"
Yeah, yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, "Wow, you guys have an accent." And me and Jake, we talked about this. We were like, "We do? No, we don't."
I don't have an accent,
And
but
so different things like that, but like in general, like I think we all like what Jake and what you guys. I didn't know what to expect. I have never met Canadians before. I mean, I guess Pau and Jaime don't really count. Maybe
mm,
no.
yeah, I guess I count.
And I mean, I don't. Yeah. So, and when we met you guys, it wasn't really that big of a difference. And I think we all hit it off when we had the opportunity to. So
Hmm.
yeah.
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 All right.
Like I still think it's crazy. Maybe I just love building relationships so much, but like I look back at 2017, okay, May, June, had a relationship with them for like 2 months, and then I moved away. I met you guys end of June, beginning of July, and I was willing to come to Texas in August.
August.
For the first time I've never been to Texas. I never had a desire to go to Texas. And then all of a sudden, like, you guys all come in and I'm like, yo, these people are actually like so sick and so cool. Like, I'm down to like make the trip for them. And yeah, like going to Texas last year was one of like my highlights. Like, I loved that trip so much. Um,
Nice.
so yeah, after a month of meeting you guys, I'm willing to fly all the way down
So,
south.
hey, and it's funny because that happens a lot. Like
Yeah.
especially at conferences. Like I've
Mhm.
definitely heard of people traveling to other states like a month or two after they've
Immediately.
met these people, and it's like I think one of those things that you never like when you even when you grow up, you never think that like you would be like so moved to go see somebody that was a stranger like a week ago, but now
Yeah.
you're like, you want to just hang with them and like be wherever they're from. It's just like you never grow up really thinking about that because I'm sure like when I'm sure growing up for you in Toronto, you had been there for like years before you even like really like traveled.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just really cool that like relationships can be built in a weekend to the point where like it's sustained for a long time
or
and
years. Yeah.
yeah. Um, okay, so we're gonna move on a little bit. And so you talked again about your job as a full-time missionary. So can you explain a little bit more about what you do, and then also because we talked about it when we were DMing each other, um, there's some parallels with the ministry that you work full-time for, and then MFC. So can you also talk about that as well?
Yeah. So I work as a full-time missionary with Catholic Christian Outreach. So like I mentioned earlier, it's the Canadian version of Focus. So as of right now, we're currently on 16 university campuses across Canada. We have over 100 full-time staff, and our main objective is that like we challenge university students to live in the fullness of the Catholic faith. We help them grow in their holiness and mission, and ultimately we desire for them to be leaders for the renewal of the world. And so my first year, I actually wasn't on a university campus. I worked in our headquarters, working for the finance department, because someone with an accounting and finance degree, the last place that they want to work in is a non-for-profit organization. So
Yeah, I feel that.
I spent a year kind of serving in that role, and then they moved me out into Calgary. So I currently work at the University of Calgary. So you mentioned Pao. Pao is technically one of my students. Um,
Nice.
so it's funny because the way that we do ministry is actually like very similar to some of the things that we do in MFC. So because we're on university campuses, I don't know if this is the same in the States, but usually it starts off with like orientation week. And there's also like an opportunity for like all the student groups that are available on the university to kind of like have a table. And so we're there, we're present, and we're not like every other student group that kind of sits behind their table and waits for students to like approach to them. No, we're standing in front of our table, we're holding our phones, and we're getting people to like, hey, do you have 5 minutes to fill out a survey? We really care about the lost. So like we want people that don't know Jesus yet or don't know him well enough to have that opportunity. And so like if we stand behind our table, we feel like, okay, we're gonna get the people that want to learn about Jesus. But there's so many people out there that don't even know that they need Jesus, that don't even know that they want a relationship with him. And so normally what we do is we're standing in front of our table, we have like a little snack to give away. So we say, fill out the survey. And it's a basic questionnaire, like what's your name, program, and then we ask, is there a faith or religion that you most identify with? Scale of 1 to 5. What does it look like? We share a little bit about our club, and if they want to leave their contact information, awesome. If they don't, that is okay as well. We're not there to kind of like force it upon them, and they can leave with a snack. For all the people that leave their contact information, we call every single one of those people. So this past year, I think, or maybe in the winter semester, the fall semester, we talked to about 600, 700 students. Of the 700, about 400 of them left their contact information. And so we call every single one of those people on our list. We're just like, the Lord has entrusted us with 400 people that left their contact information. Like, we're not just going to send like a mass email. We're going to call every single person individually.
Personalize it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, because we care about their soul. We want them to like have a great experience. And honestly, like amidst the 400 people that left their contact information, maybe about 200 people actually answer. And we ask them if they want to meet with us for about like 30 minutes just to hear a little bit more about like our club and some of the things that we have to offer. And the main thing that we offer is something called a faith study. So our faith studies it's 6 weeks long, and the students fill out their schedule. And essentially we're like, oh, hey, look, Joseph, Paolo, Michael, and Mark are all free Tuesday at 3:00. That's going to be your small group. That's going to be the group that you meet with every week at that time. And you just go through like different topics. And so that's very similar to households. Like your household is like your small group. Like you have that opportunity every month or every other week to really bond with these guys, to be accountable and really go deeper in your relationship with Jesus. And so like we have like 5 different levels of the books. And so they go in like chronological order. And so students are able to take those studies. Um, if we see leadership potential, we challenge them to lead a faith study. And leading a faith study means that it's not just like a program that people go through, but it's an opportunity for you to accompany like souls to Jesus. And so like with the leaders, I meet with them once a week. I meet with them an hour a week, and we do a personal check-in. Like, how are you? Like, how is school? How is just your life in general? How is your spiritual life? Like, how is your prayer time? What is the Lord kind of speaking to you? And then the last thing that we look at is, how's your ministry looking? Like, this faith study that you're leading, like, tell me about it. Like, what's going on? Like, this person said this. Okay, like, what does that mean? Like, really, like, dig deeper into like what the Holy Spirit might be doing in that faith study. And so that's essentially like a lot of it. And so we have that. I like trying to think of it like we have phases because we work on a semester. So we have our outreach phase. Our next phase is our concentration phase, where we just focus on building relationships with the people that we've met at Clubs Week. Then we have the integration phase. And so the integration phase is where we make big asks. We're just like, okay, like you've accompanied this person for like 2-3 months already. Where's this person at? What is going to be the next best thing that they need in order to deepen their relationship? So for some people, it's, I want to challenge you. I want to invite you to put Jesus at the center of your life. For other people, it's, I want to challenge you to lead a faith study next semester. For other people, it's, I want to challenge you to apply to go on a mission or to join staff. Like integration is like where the Holy Spirit kind of takes over and we follow his promptings. And then end the semester with celebration. We celebrate everything that the Lord has done in this past semester, really acknowledging it, really celebrating it. And like, that's kind of like similar to like when we have like Christmas parties, or like when we just get the entire community together. We just celebrate everything that the Lord has done in the lives of participants, in the lives of students, and just everything that he's done, we give him glory. And then once that semester is over, we do it again the next semester. And so it's just a constant cycle. So that's kind of like what we do like in CCO. And then, yeah, like the way that it's structured is very similar to like MFC with the households. And then there's like that household servant, and then the household servants kind of like meet together, and they have like their upper household, and they're kind of like equipped with the attitudes, the skills, and the knowledge in order to be like the best household servant that they can be. So yeah, those are like some of the similarities. That's in a nutshell what CCO is on university campuses, and essentially what my full-time job is.
Nice. That's really cool. Do you guys have like a big event where all the campuses meet? So kind of like, so like Focus does, they have like Seek, and then they have a SLS. Do you guys have something like that?
Yeah, so ours is called Rise Up, and it's Canada's largest Catholic young adult conference.
Nice.
And so it's not limited to just our university campuses, but young adults aged 18 to 35 are more than welcome to attend this conference. It's 5 days, 4 nights. It rotates between East Coast, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast. And yeah, this past one, it was in Toronto, and it was our biggest one yet. It's not as big as Focus and like Seek's conference, but yeah, we had 1,300 young adults at the conference. And so, yeah, that's kind of, it happens December 28th to January 1st. So a big barrier is not wanting to celebrate New Year's away from their family.
Right.
Oh, that makes sense. That's crazy.
But after my first Rise Up, we have a countdown for every single time zone, which is like, you get to celebrate EMCEAN. You get to celebrate New Year's 6 times. And then in the city, whatever city you're in, once it's midnight, we go straight into like praise and worship. We thank the Lord for everything he's done this past year, and we just invite him to be present in our life in the year moving forward. So
I actually saw that in some of the Canadians that I follow, and I didn't know if you guys were like at an event or like a ministry event, or first I thought it was a party, like a New Year's countdown party. And then after I saw you guys do the countdown, I see snaps or like Instagram video story of y'all worshiping, and I was like, That, bro, that's I've never seen a New Year's Eve party or New Year's
Yeah.
celebration like that, and I was like, that's pretty cool.
Mhm.
So that was that was the Catholic conference.
Yeah,
That's
that was
sick.
Rise Up.
Okay. So there's probably a lot of integration between people in MFC and CCO in Canada.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Because then yeah, that makes sense. Because like here in the States we have campus space, and so that's where all of our college
Mhm.
students go. But it makes sense because I think when you're on campus, especially in college, like you're craving for something like that, especially if you're Catholic or just anything faith related. Because I've met people like we went to a Catholic university, Pow and I did, and like even the people that aren't Catholic, like you can just tell that it doesn't matter what faith background you come from, or even if you
Mhm.
have a background at all. But like just in college, you're just seeking for something,
Mhm.
and so I understand that like regardless of what it is, it could be. Um, but as long as it's on campus, people are like craving something, but then something where like they can have easily accessible. So like obviously like just being able to walk across campus or like drive to a meeting is a lot easier than like some kind of event where you have to leave campus and like it's like 20 minutes away. You know what I'm saying? Like people just like, especially as a student, if it's on campus, it just makes that even more enticing. And then if
Yeah,
it's faith related, then like that's even better.
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Like in the same way that like MFC has like all of those kind of like branches, whether it's kids, youth, um, campus based,
yeah,
singles. Um, yeah, like within CCO, like we focus like solely on university campuses, mainly for like the reasons that you mentioned of like when you think of people in university, um, like these are your future doctors, your future lawyers, your
yeah.
future accountants, your future engineers. Like they're not studying there because like I just have like nothing else better to do. Like they want difference in their
Yeah,
field.
there's a goal and
Yeah.
purpose to why they're
And
there.
so,
Yeah.
so like what better way to graduate from university? Yes, go make a difference in your sector, but also like be able to like live out the faith and be a witness to what it means to know Jesus. And like you were saying, we often kind of like talk about like the university students as like when they enter university, like the door is open for 4 years. Like a lot of them are just like they're figuring out who they are. They're figuring out what they
Exactly.
and ultimately, like when they leave university, that door is closed. Not too many people after university are still like seeking and like, oh, like I don't know what I believe in. Like, who am I as a person? And so university is like that key moment and that opportunity for students to really figure out who they are,
Yeah.
their purpose in life, what they want to do, and if we can help them understand that their purpose is just to be a son or daughter of Christ and just grow in that relationship, then that's like what brings us the most amount of joy.
Yeah.
It's
Amen to
a
that.
yeah, it's definitely an integral time to like
Mm-hmm.
create or not create or just to set values and morals and like really find out where you stand as a person and like the things that you really believe in. And so like for missionaries like as yourself, it's such an important I want to say job, even just like such an important thing to do, just to bring that to them. Because in college, and like when you're in college, there's so many things that can happen. There's so many things that you can do. Like you have so much time in your hands, so much freedom, and
Yeah,
so like sometimes it's hard to go seek that yourself. So it's really important to have like people on campus just to bring that to them.
Yeah.
yeah,
And also like what's so important too is what CCO does and also what like campus based does is it's bridging the gap from going from like high school or like being a youth with being a young adult and preparing you for that life because I think what makes campus space so like important for the people here in the US is that like they don't necessarily like want to go from being a youth into like singles because first of all they see us as like the old people, which I get that, but also like you're yeah we're not that old, we're still cool, but you're meeting with people who have like probably a lot more life experience. They have full-time jobs and stuff like that, and they're used to being very independent and on their own. So it's obviously like very like you can't really relate with that as much. And so it's
Tough.
very important, especially in college, because whether you're in campus space or CCO or any type of group like that on campus, not only are you able to relate to people with what they face like every single day in terms of like balancing your schedule and figuring out like Pal said like what to do with your freedom, like you don't have your parents dictating everything, like now you have that opportunity, and so there's a lot of stuff with life that you're dealing with, but then there's also the aspect of you're also growing in your faith and in the spirit with people as well, and so that's a very important time because I mean, we've always heard the statistics that like, we lose a lot of people in the Catholic Church at this time in college, and so it's even more important that we have groups like CCO or we have campus space as a club on campus, because that allows people to see a new. Because I would definitely say, regardless of what type of organization it is, anything you did as a youth, like if it was youth ministry or like MSC youth, whatever, it's very different once you get to college. And like it's, especially at that age, you want to be away from like the young kids, and you want to, be cool and be with the older people and the more free, independent people. And so like there's just so much that you can relate to, and the fact that you get to be on that journey and you're not just walking alone, but you're walking with people who are going through the same exact thing. That's really awesome. And so that's everything that you said is like so cool. And I personally didn't get to do much in college in terms of like being in a group besides MFC, because we didn't have campus space on our campus. So like I went straight to the singles, and Pal did as well. And so that was kind of a shock for me, or like I wasn't really sure, like when we were in discussions, I'm like, people are talking about like the stress of their 9 to 5, and like having to pay the bills, or like what it, like all this grown up stuff, and I'm just sitting here and I'm like, yo, I'm just trying to get through junior year of college, bro. Like, I'm just trying to graduate. And so, Pal, did you kind of feel the same way transitioning like that?
Well, I joined like straight
Even earlier than I did.
probably my freshman year, and mine, it was a little different just because I guess at the time the household leaders that I had were people that I grew up with,
Sure.
and but yeah, like it was hard to relate. Obviously, in that aspect is like a lot of the times they're talking about their jobs, or working that 9 to 5, or like expecting what's gonna happen to them in the future. And I was here just thinking about like what I was gonna do on the weekend, and what was I gonna do with like my friends at college.
True.
And at the same time, though, like disclaimer, it was nice just to hear
Yeah,
that
of course.
side and just to learn at a young age. And but it definitely, like, you always have that feeling of not being able to contribute to the discussion
Right.
just because
Yeah.
you're just a college kid.
And yeah, I think what adds to the atmosphere and the experience is some level of comfortability. I mean, like obviously it's good to kind of push yourself and go into uncomfortable situations, but if you can at least create an atmosphere where people feel welcomed and like they can be themselves, I think that's very important. Um,
And
so we're gonna
we did praise and worship every Sunday, so
we did, yeah, we would
we were part of
in
that.
for a
Proud
couple
of
years. So what we're gonna do is we're getting close to wrapping up, but I do want to. I thought about this. Like, I want to add a segment where like we do something really interactive with our guests, and so we're just gonna have this thing. I'm gonna call it rapid fire questions, right? So
it.
it's gonna be 45 seconds. I'm just gonna ask JK some random questions.
Man.
Some of it will be just like really random stuff. Some of it will be like faith related, I guess. But yeah, so here, it's unpredictable. All right, so here we
You
go.
ready?
45 seconds on the clock. Hopefully, when I'm editing, I figure out how to put some kind of graphic that shows the timer as well. But also, we're not in HD, so it'll probably be like a freaking potato. But anyway, here we go. 45 seconds on the clock. And 3, 2, 1. Okay, JK, name a city you'd like to travel to that you've never visited before.
Sydney, Australia.
What is your favorite worship song that you're listening to right now?
The Creed.
By Hillsong?
That's so old.
Hey man, hey man,
Respect,
people go in phases.
Good
Okay,
song, good song.
if you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Invisibility.
Okay.
Invisibility?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. Who is your favorite saint?
Oh, St. Augustine.
Okay, nice.
We
What
love
was
it.
the
So-
last what was the last show or movie that you watched on Netflix?
Money Heist.
Nice.
Casa de Papel?
And then last question, are you subscribed to the Large Guys podcast?
Not yet.
Oh,
but he will
boo.
be. He will be, and that's time.
I will be.
That's
I
all
don't
we've
know
got
how
for
to
you.
subscribe.
What are you talking about? It's on YouTube. Just go.
We're not gonna post this episode anymore. I'm just kidding.
I don't know how to use it. Okay, I'm gonna sound so old. I don't know how to use YouTube. Like I just search videos. I don't know how to. I don't subscribe to anything.
That's
Do
okay.
you,
I mean,
do you have an account?
Like I have a like. What's connected
Google.
right now? I don't know if this is bad. I'm connected to my CCO Gmail account.
yeah,
don't
that
worry.
counts.
Yeah.
Or
Okay. Well, I mean, you can subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify.
Do you have a
or Apple
Spotify? Is there
Podcasts.
Spotify in Canada? No, that's a dumb question.
Yeah.
You have Spotify.
We do have Spotify.
Yeah, you can find us on Spotify and then just follow us there.
Okay, this is, again, we're all the same age. Actually, I think I'm the youngest one here.
How old are you? 25?
25.
I'm the youngest. I'm 24.
JQ's 24.
Wait, you're 95?
Yeah.
I thought you were 94 this entire time.
No, I'm November 95.
No, I'm the
You-
youngest guy. I'm 21.
Stop.
You
No,
were
you're not.
sitting at our 94s table.
What are you talking about?
Like on the Saturday of conference during dinner, like we were all sitting together and we we're all 94s.
No, that was me.
I swear JK was there too.
No, I wasn't there.
Or maybe he just sat with us just because we didn't care about the rules.
That too. Honestly, like I couldn't tell you what my group was supposed to be. I just know that I joined Clint and Pal's group just because they were there. Yeah, sorry,
All
I'm that
different
guy at
ages.
conference. I'm that guy at conference who just
Okay,
wants to be
also-
his friends.
Yeah, I just learned in April, I guess last month. Wait, no, we're still in April.
Yeah,
Hey,
it's the
quarantine
end of
does that.
April.
I just learned how to search a podcast on Spotify.
Oh my gosh. Hey, it's okay.
Hey, but now you can search for us on Spotify.
You know what? I'm gonna do that right now.
All right, here we go on the air. Here we go.
On the air subscription from JK. We hope to have bare subscriptions. You like that?
Yo,
like that.
a lie? Yo, I'm a post this. I'm gonna post this on my story, and you're gonna get bare followers.
Bro, that's
Fair
what
follow.
that's what I'm hoping. We're trying to increase our reach.
Yeah,
to
to the
Canada.
Canadians. Canadian friends, we miss you guys. Please follow us and don't.
For sure, for sure.
Make sure you're doing something. As Kyle would
Let's- Yeah, that's it.
I think I
There it
did.
is. Yeah, following. There it is. He got it. But yeah, okay. So speaking of some of that slang that Pal dropped, I guess to close the show, there's some stuff that we learned from you and from our other friends in conference during Congress or when you were here in Texas. I'll be honest, I forgot some of it just because when you stop saying it or like hearing it,
Yeah.
you just forget
Yeah.
about it.
when you know that it's not really like doesn't make sense. you
Yeah,
just
yeah,
stop
exactly.
saying
Because like we the only
it.
thing. Yeah, there isn't much I remember. So we just want to go through a few things.
It's also like it's not Canadian slang. It's literally Toronto slang.
Okay.
Oh.
Like when I moved to Calgary, some of my students could not understand what I was saying because I was speaking too much Toronto slang.
Is there Canadian slang though, or is it just Toronto?
Honestly, like just Toronto. I think.
That's weird.
I mean, like we like
I mean, it's
even
cool.
in Calgary we have some sayings that they wouldn't say in Toronto.
I guess, yeah.
Okay.
Just like here in the States.
Yeah. Okay, so the first one that Pau and I were talking about was "Don't Kill Me." So what is that like? Can you give us the context of why DKM? Sorry, DKM. Can you give us the context of that and how it's used?
So like sometimes like someone is so funny that like it hurts you, like you want to die of laughter because they're just so hilarious and you're so funny. So in order to avoid that, because they're so funny, don't kill me. Because if you keep being funny, I'm going to die. And me dying is a result of you, so therefore you killed me. But I don't want you to kill me, so stop being funny.
Do you guys use LOL?
Yeah.
Okay. This is like same thing, right?
No, well, I feel like whenever we say like I'm dead or I'm
Oh, I'm dead.
deceased, like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
like
True.
you.
True.
I'm already like there's not even like a don't kill me, but like I'm already like
Dead. Yeah. That's
dying
true.
of laughter.
Yeah,
I feel like that's
DKM though.
our
You got to put it into some abbreviations.
How much letters does it take you to spell dead?
Yeah.
no. But wait, so like when you're saying it out loud, do you say DKM or do you say don't kill me? Like, how do you say it out loud?
Oh, out loud you say don't kill me.
Yeah.
See, it's easier to be like I'm dead,
I'm
or
dead.
like when we text it, we do the dead emoji,
Dead.
like the skull.
Or just we spell
When we
out
say dead.
DED.
Yeah.
Dead.
Like not everyone says like I'm dead, but yeah, people just say dead, DED, whatever.
DED.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's just us who do
Yeah,
this.
it's just us. Let's see what other slang.
A lie?
Yeah. So
A
what
lie.
what does that even mean?
A lie, it's like
A.
in a sense it's a conjugation of like I lie.
What?
What?
Like we combine it into one word and it's like it's verifying something. So the weather's nice outside, I lie.
Right? It's like right?
Right?
Kinda,
Yeah, that's what I'd say like right or yeah.
Yeah.
It's like yeah, A.
And
A,
so wait, is it the same thing as A? Same
Ah.
use?
yeah, except A would be like Canada wide. Alive
Okay.
would be Toronto.
A lie. That
So
was weird. A lie.
Yay?
What?
Actually saying that intonation, like being like yay, that's Toronto.
Yeah.
No, but like
Oh, what?
like if you hear
What?
like it's like yay, that's Toronto.
That's
But then like here it'd be like oh like yay.
What does that mean?
I'm confused.
Like
Is
it's
that
just
a lie?
it's like it's another way of saying ally, but then like the way that people say it in Toronto it's different than the rest of the country.
So it's like it depends the circumstances or like what you're responding to. Is there like a different like octave? Like if someone's happy and then if someone's sad, you're like, yay, yay. Is there is there such thing? I'm just trying to understand here, JK.
Actually, like sometimes when someone's kind of like when someone's kind of like flexing and you want to like kind of boost them up, you go a little bit nasally, so you go nyai.
I'm done.
But then if someone's just saying something and you're just like you want to like agree, be like yai.
Okay.
Okay. So like certain levels of enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Okay, so last one. So speaking of flex,
Yeah.
I've heard what's the flex?
What's
So-
the flex, yo?
So
What's the flex after
what's that
this?
about? What does that mean?
It's like what's the plan? Like what's the motive?
What's the move? The
What's
motive?
the motive?
The motive?
Yeah,
Are you in court? I know you studied law and criminology. But...
And so
who's behind it? Yeah, so yeah, the flex is like what are the next plans?
yeah, I think it's equal to when we say what's the move?
What's the move or what's the
What's the
plan? What's
yeah,
going
what's the
on?
game plan?
Game
What's
plan.
the move? Like yeah.
What's the flex?
I'm trying to remember some of your slang, but I can't remember them.
I think you have too much of Josh Rillo slang.
Yeah. Josh's slang isn't. That's like his own.
That's just Josh.
I feel like I have a lot of that.
You've probably learned a lot from him. But and the last thing was it something about like a telly?
Oh yeah,
yo,
I forgot about that.
Here.
Yeah. What is it? Is it? Do y'all call it a telly or like?
Telly is like it's really it's younger. It's very teeny. Like
Okay.
teenagers would call it like, oh, like are you going to the telly tonight? Like it's a hotel party, but Yeah, actually, like when I moved to Calgary, people don't have hotel parties.
Yeah, okay,
Uh,
so that's what I'm wondering. So growing up, you guys would go to hotels and have parties in the hotel?
yeah, like my 19 to 21st birthday were Tellies.
That's so interesting because like none of us are trying, especially at that age, like none of us even have the money to rent a hotel room and have a party, so we just do it at a house or something.
Yeah.
But like y'all are going above and beyond just for the
Then
experience.
my 22nd birthday was an Airbnb, but it was like when we I guess it depends on like what type of person you are, but for my
Yeah.
birthday I like to go big. So
Of course.
so
You
me
wouldn't expect anything else.
and for our 22nd birthday we had it together. Um and we got a 6 bedroom house
Okay.
for like our birthday.
So for
Wow.
the tellies, do people stay at the hotel overnight or do they just go home?
Sometimes. Depends on who you are, what type of a relationship you have with the person.
Yeah.
Right. That
No
makes sense.
randos allowed.
Yeah,
True.
I would not let a random person like
But like,
stay.
isn't there like liability, Because like if you like mess
Oh,
something
yeah.
up in the hotel room.
Yeah, there's so much risk. But then um I guess like in Toronto, like parents are a little bit more strict. So you actually like you can't have a party at your house.
Okay.
And so if we can't have a party at our house, then we just have it at a
The
as a
hotel.
telly.
At a
Um,
telly.
but this was also like tellies were before Airbnbs happened. So
Right. Okay.
Makes
That makes
sense,
sense.
yeah.
That makes
yeah.
sense. All right. So we're actually coming up on an hour, but
Nice.
we do want to go over one story with you,
Oh man.
of your time in Texas. So I believe there was a prank that was played on you, right?
Oh yeah.
And so you met over during the Chicago conference. You met Kyle Nunez. Shout out to Kyle Nunez. I think
Yeah.
we'll have him. I've talked to Kyle about this. We'll have Kyle on the pod at some point.
The
Talk a little,
newlywed. Shout
yeah.
outs.
Talk a little wrestling and MMA with us. Um, so you met Kyle, right? And he has a younger brother named Keith. And so when you flew into Houston, I believe Keith picked you up, right? And so I mean, I would say that they look pretty similar because they are brothers, but maybe because I grew up with them, like it's easy for me to distinguish the difference between Kyle and Keith. Now tell us what you were thinking when you first got picked up from the airport.
Okay. So Ken, it was Ken and Keith that like came to pick
Right.
me up. And so I was just like I had just come off of like my flight was 2 hours delayed, and I was just really excited to like be in Houston, be in Texas, be reunited with everyone. And so Ken comes out of his pickup truck, and then Keith comes, and I look at him and I'm like, okay, it should be Kyle. But something's off. Something's different. Um, and then Ken gets my luggage and he's like, "Oh, you remember Kyle, right?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, like people can change their appearance in span of months.
It's
So
true. It's true.
In
It's
the span
possible.
of 2 months.
It's
now I
possible.
believe that that's Kyle still." You want
and
me to keep
so
going?
so the whole ride.
So the entire way, it was Ken driving, Keith in the passenger seat, and then I was in the back, so I couldn't see his face. And the way that they talk, like I would say, it sounds pretty similar. Uh,
Yeah. If you
and
haven't if you're not around them often.
Yeah.
so we drive to Ken's place. Keith is like, "Oh man, like I wish you could have met my brother, but I think he's like, or no, I think he was saying that he was gonna be at the house." And so I was like really excited. I'm like, "Oh, okay, like I get to meet more people. I love meeting people." Get to Ken's house, and I'm like, "Oh, where's your brother?" He's like, "Oh, I think he like went to sleep." And I'm like, "Oh man, like I don't get to meet Kyle's brother." But yeah, I'm like tired. I'm exhausted. I'm just like catching up with some of the people. Um, and I get introduced to her name's Nala, right?
Oh, the
The dog.
dog. Yeah.
So I get introduced to her. Um, and yeah, and it's like really cute and da 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 da. And this entire time that I'm talking to everyone and catching up, Keith and Kyle are switching back and forth, holding Nala. And I just like every time I saw Kyle's face, I'd be like, "Hey, like that's the Kyle that I remember." But then sometimes I'd look and I'm like, "That's not the Kyle that I remember." But it has to be Kyle because his brother's sleeping. So this just keeps going on, and then I finally I say something. I'm like sometimes I just like you just look different, and I blame the hat, and I think it's the hat that makes him look different. And then all of a sudden, I think it was like Keith was already out, and then Kyle came out. He walked out of like the dark kind of hallway, and I was just shook.
Shocked.
So,
They got you, bro.
I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, I knew this guy was different. I knew this wasn't the Kyle that I saw. But I'm a very trusting person. I was like, Ken said it was
I
Kyle.
remember you saying that. Yeah.
Right.
That Keith was sleeping, so I'm not gonna be like, are you sure Keith is sleeping? I think you're Keith because I don't know any better.
It's so funny because like we're all following this on Snapchat because Clint is like updating us with every snap. So the first one was like it was you talking to Keith, and then he goes, "JK thinks this is Kyle. Stay tuned." And then like I want to say at least 4 or 5 times they switched out, and like I am just absolutely dying.
I was so confused. What was going on?
Absolutely dying, and then I was like, let's see how long this can go. And I want to say it was about close to an hour.
It was a very long time.
And then they finally revealed him. Yeah, man. What? Oh, that was so funny.
Yeah, and it was like Clint. I remember Clint showed me the snaps afterwards. He was like, he still thinks he's talking to Kyle.
Yeah,
he still thinks that. I'm like, ah.
It's so funny, and it's like so them to play like a prank like that, just to because I'm sure they thought about it beforehand, and Ken just kind of threw it out there. But then when they realized that you actually believed it, they went full into it. And
Kept
I think
rolling into it.
Yeah. All right, so we just would like to thank JK for coming here he's our first guest actually on the show. Yeah, I forgot to mention that at the beginning. You're actually our very first guest. So this whole interview process was actually pretty new for all of us. Thank you for sharing your story and also sharing about your mission work. What I'll do is I'll probably drop a link in our description to the CCO website. So if you have a website, if you can just send that to me, and then we'll drop that. So if people are interested in it, even if the American viewers are interested in it, they can check that out. Do you have any last words that you'd like to leave us?
Oh man. I mean, first of all, thanks for having me. I feel very honored and privileged to be your first guest ever. And yeah, and I'm actually just like nothing super intense, maybe more so cheesy, but I'm just super grateful and blessed to have like met both of you guys. We're actually it's only May next month. I'm like we're almost approaching our 1 year anniversary of knowing each other and meeting each other, and like what a journey it's been. I just can't wait to see like what the Lord continues to do in every single one of our lives, and knowing that I have like my fellow brothers and sisters in the States that that I can rely on, that I can reach out to for support, and just the fellowship has just been an amazing gift to me. So thank you for your friendship, for just all the things that you do within the MFC community, and just being overall like an awesome friend to me. So yeah.
Thanks. Pao, you got last minute words?
Well, no, JK, thanks for joining us. It was really, well, one, it's just nice to catch up and just also hear about what you're doing and how you've been, and just bring your experiences into faith life over there, and just sharing that with us and sharing that with our listeners and subscribers. So yes. We're really grateful, and dang man, we wish we could see each other again this summer or soon.
I know.
COVID, huh?
We'll see, man.
soon.
Why
We'll
still
see.
go there?
Yeah, you got to use that $100 bill.
Yeah.
Hey,
What else am I gonna do
cheers.
with it, Mr. Benji?
But yes, thank you again for joining us. So we're just gonna close now, and just a reminder: if you are not subscribed, subscribe to us on our YouTube page. Drop a like for us. Also, you can follow us on Spotify, on Apple Pods as well. And if you liked this kind of stuff that we do, if you're a new listener, if you're joining us for the first time, maybe from Canada because JK, promoted us or asked you to watch this interview, then we invite you guys to just check out our other episodes and just subscribe to us for the future episodes, because we got a lot of interviews like this coming soon and just a bunch of other stuff of us randomly talking with our friends. So we thank you guys, and just stay tuned, and we'll see you guys later. Peace.
Peace out.